anything like this. This fall, thousands will seek their moment of glory, but this time they won't sing. They'll scratch. Join Team Missouri Lottery and win the star treatment with the Voice Scratchers and VIP promotion. Scratch to win $100,000 instantly and enter at molottery.com for a chance to win a trip to Vegas and LA to see The Voice live. Play responsibly.
At the KSMO Studios at 1340, it's Intercounty Tuesday, and Heather has made her way over, and she's here ready to enthrall us with a bevy of information about Association Cooperative Membership Week. Is it month? Month. Okay, so we got a big Customer Appreciation Day coming up. Usually we don't get to that until after the fact.
Well, it kind of depends on how it lands.
I know, but usually it lands the day before we have our interview.
Right. Well,
but not this time.
Not this time. Nope. Member Appreciation Day is going to be this coming Monday, the 15th, and we hope lots of members come out and join us.
And where will that be held?
We will have employees at each office, Rolla, Licking, and Mountain Grove.
And your new office in Salem?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
We don't have one.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Rolla and Licking would be close.
Okay.
You can come to either office between 11 and 1. We're going to be serving lunch. We'll have a drawing for a $25 electric credit. You can put your name in for that. It's a good time to share with us any ideas you have, any concerns you have.
Okay.
Much like the fairs that we do throughout the summer, Member Appreciation Day is really a day that we want to make sure we are available to listen to your concerns and your ideas, and we hope that you come out and share those with us.
What's for lunch? Steak and lobster?
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? You want steak and lobster in the Salem office, don't you?
Be nice.
Boy, that'd be nice.
You talked about being nice.
We're going to have hot dogs, chips, and soda. So not quite steak and lobster.
It's kind of a letdown there.
Yeah, well, when you lead with that. Yeah.
Chateaubriand?
It's better than nothing. It's a free lunch.
No, it's free lunch. Okay, but it's an opportunity for you to visit.
It is. And, we've had some really great ideas come from Member Appreciation Day and the fairs and annual meeting when our members take the time to talk to us about what's on their mind. So do that. If it's an afternoon that you have free, or maybe you work in one of those areas and get a lunch break, you can run over and join us for lunch.
Okay. What time does it start?
11.
And it ends?
At 1.
So if you want to hit to all three, you're going to have to get to Rolla at 11 and then Licking and then down to Mountain Grove.
And we have had a member ask us.
Yeah.
Last year, not yet this year, but they asked, can I come to each one and put my name in for the $25 credit
Absolutely.
at each office? You sure can. I'm not sure what type of vehicle you have and the gas mileage you're getting, but...
Well, really, it's not that far on
Right.
63 to get down to Mountain Grove from Licking. It's not that far.
No.
So,
But if you're trying to hit all three...
Yeah, I know. If you got to get to Rolla at 11 to
You
make
could do
that
it.
happen, you can do it. Sure, you
Yep.
can do it. What if you want all three electric? Ooh, would that be a scandal?
You might want to go buy a lottery ticket or
Well,
something, I'd say, if you win all three of those on the same day.
Heck with that.
Luck is on
I'd be
your
going to
side.
the casino and put it all on, all of that on one number on roulette, baby. Let's make it happen. Yeah, that would be
It could
pretty,
happen. It would. Chances of that are
insurmountable odds against you.
right.
But it could happen.
Yeah, and by all means, you are more than welcome to come and visit us at each office, and you can visit us at any office any day. It doesn't have to be Member Appreciation Day.
Right. But you won't get the free
You won't,
steak
you
and
won't-
lobster.
Now, Stan, somebody's going to come and be disappointed.
I'm already am disappointed. You told me
say,
it's a hot dog.
I was yeah, I was listening to Salem radio, and Stan said,
All right, so no steak and lobster this year, and no Salem office either this year. We're working on it. I don't think it's going to happen, but we're working on it.
yeah,
Would be nice.
that's
Have a
you
satellite
sharing
office.
your ideas.
It is. You asked me my ideas.
Yeah.
I'm giving you them.
Okay, I'll pass those on. We'll see what happens. I'll let Karen know that you want steak and lobster.
And I want a Salem office.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll go back and tell her.
Why not?
You want me to take a picture of her face when I tell
Yeah.
her? Okay.
Yeah. Because I already know what it's going to look like before when she stops cracking up.
Yeah.
Laughing hysterically, but that's okay.
Yeah.
No, anyway, but Customer Appreciation Day is Monday, the 15th of October, right?
That's right.
Okay, so 11 to 1 at the Rolla, Licking, and Mountain Grove offices. You're welcome to attend. Come on in. Bring you and your family along with us. You can get that delicious hot dog, chips, and soda. And sign up for the electric credit.
Yeah. And, a lot of times we have coworkers. They come, they're on their lunch break, and they'll kind of carpool and come down, and they put in for the drawing and grab lunch and head back to work. So, if you're not with your family, maybe you and some of your coworkers can come down and join us for a little bit.
Save yourself $5.
Yeah.
I went down there and get a free lunch.
And we're hoping for nice weather. So I heard some of your weather forecasts before our show. It's going to get a little cool.
Yeah, actually, it should be partly sunny by Monday afternoon. So hopefully that will be the case.
Yeah.
Still going to only be 55 degrees.
Yeah, we'll probably have our coats on.
Yeah, it's partly sunny. Once that sun comes out, it warms things up. You say you have your coats on. I guarantee if it would be March and 57 degrees, your coat would probably be coming off because after winter, that 57 feels real warm.
It feels warm.
Yeah. Anyway, right now it'll feel kind of cool since we've had 85 degrees.
Yeah. If it's not windy, sometimes that wind.
Yeah, the wind can, especially a north wind, really make it feel cool. But anyway, we want to make sure everybody knows Customer Appreciation Day, Monday, Rolla, Licking, Mountain Grove, 11 to 1.
That's right.
With a free lunch. Sign up for the electric credits. Visit, talk to them. If you have questions about something, Smart Hub. If you got questions about your service, if you got questions about GenerLink, they can get them all answered right there.
That's right.
And they can help you out and get on a list to get some of that stuff. Because really, this is the time of year, Heather, that we talk about people need to be prepared for the bad weather.
That's
and
right.
you need to start preparing now. We've had ice storms in November, which actually we in Intercounty had a pretty bad one here back in the late 90s that actually shut a lot of people off for 3 to 5 days.
In November.
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Where were you? You were running,
in the 90s?
hiding? Yeah. Didn't pay much attention.
I was probably
to it
in school.
Yeah, that's what you probably weren't in school that day if you were around
probably
here
not.
because, that happened. And so, we know here when the electric was off for quite some time out at our tower.
Yeah. Well, you make a valid point. Prepare for winter now. Don't wait until the forecast says tomorrow we're expecting
7 to 12 inches of snow and something like that.
We're not going to be able to get out to get your GenerLink hooked up that afternoon.
Okay.
So give us a call.
Right.
If you've got, and we talked a little bit about this last month too.
We did.
The GenerLink, if you have a generator, if you're thinking of buying a generator, we want to make sure those are being operated safely for you and for our linemen out working on those lines. So please don't wait till the last minute to make sure that you have everything to be able to safely run those. Give us a call now and let us know so that we can get that taken care of.
Right. And if you want to do a massive project, which would be a little bit more than just your typical GenerLink on your pole there behind your meter, they can do that. They can help you with that too.
Right, the double throw.
Get that double throw switch. It
That's
automatically
right.
kicks on and kicks off once your power reaches the acceptable level to run your appliances or whatever you need backed up. Once that system kicks on, your generator kicks on, once it hits that, then it'll switch right over.
Right.
And then once the electric comes back on from Intercounty, it shuts it off. So it's a very, very nice piece of equipment. I have one myself out of our transmitter building. Works like a champ.
Good. That's what we like to hear. And safe.
And safely, yeah.
Safe for your
and it does
building
its own, now, I don't know about all of them, but ours does its own 2-week test. So
Most
it actually comes on and actually kicks off the electric for maybe, 30 seconds. And
Not
then
very long.
the generator comes on, it runs, then it kicks back to Intercounty and shuts the generator off.
Make sure that it's working properly.
That's right. So always make sure that you do know, though, now when we're talking about this, that you have an alternative energy source. Obviously, to plug your generator in, if you have an electric generator, it's not going to do you any good when the electric is out. Don't work very well like that unless you have a super big battery that recharges the battery when you put it on your generator, which is kind of what we do with our generator right now. And when it comes back on, because it had the trickle charge it used to have, doesn't hold it anymore. So we had to actually put in a line charge, and so it's plugged into a outlet. So even if it goes off as the unit is running, it's charging itself. Pretty nifty stuff.
Well, that's a good setup.
Yeah, it's a good setup. So you got the battery on that generator. Make sure it stays healthy, so you have enough electric. So there's a number of different ways to do things. Contact Intercounty. Talk to them about it. If you're building a new home or getting ready to finish up building a home right now, and you're saying, I'd really like to have a backup system, this is a good time.
This is a great time.
To get it done. And get that generator, maybe have it permanently mounted somewhere. And they've got different size generators for that, and they'll come out and they'll tell you what size you need for what you want covered.
Right. And
that's a free service.
Well, and when you're building is really an ideal time because your electrician can work all that in so that later on you're not coming in and trying to work backwards.
Piecemeal which circuits you want on and stuff. Or they can actually hook it in before your entire circuit box if they want to, if you want to put the whole house on it. But I'm going to tell you that generator is going to be the size of the Empire State Building.
Well, and with a price tag just as big, probably.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty good size. So
right.
You probably don't need everything on. That corner basement closet that I'm sure when all the electric goes out, I'm sure you don't go down there.
Well,
Might be kind of dark.
And a lot of times what happens when members call and would like a generator sized, when Tony or Abe go out, one of the guys go out to do that, first thing they want to know is to run everything. How big a generator do I need to run everything? And they can certainly run that and give you a size. Most people who have looked into generators, when they hear what size they would need to run the whole house, they get a little bit of sticker shock because they know what kind of price they're looking at when they go to buy a generator at that size. But they can run some different scenarios. And okay, so that's whole house. What about bare minimum? I just need this and this. And then maybe, okay, well, what would it take if I wanted to also run the lights in the living room
and my well?
And so you can run a couple different scenarios. And then when you're shopping for a generator, you're armed with that knowledge of, if I purchase one this size, this is what I'm going to be able to run.
So,
because as much as you'd like to be able to trust the salesman, he doesn't know what your home needs. He doesn't know what size generator you're going to need, and it may end up being one that works just fine, but it'd be nice to have that knowledge ahead of time before you're shopping.
He's not at your house looking at your circuit box and seeing what you have on there. Maybe some rooms, everybody like to have their kitchen working, which is okay. That's understandable. Especially if you have deep freezes, you don't want those freezers to go out. So that's probably a given. So if it's all on one circuit, your kitchen with a deep freeze and you're cooking, obviously, that's kind of a no-brainer with your refrigerator. That's an easy one. How about your furnace? How about your air conditioner? How about those things? Air conditioner's $220. Oh my, that's a little bit higher.
And the type of heating that you use is going to make a difference.
Sure,
do you have a gas furnace and so it's just your blower, or do you have an electric furnace? That's going to require quite a bit bigger generator.
So let the guys do it. They can come out and they can look at it, and if you want to get a big honker of a generator, you can, but a lot of people like those little portable generators. They can get them enough to get by. But always remember, once that generator comes on and you start plugging, the more things you plug in that eat that power source up, like a space heater. That generator can only put out so many amps and so many, volts, that you start putting in a bunch of those.
Those are little energy hogs, what we call them.
They'll eat up a lot of your generator power. So keep that in mind. Also, make sure if you are using a generator, and it is going to be an alternative fuel, if it's a gas one or propane, or maybe you got really creative and you have a big stream running by you, and then you've done water power, hydropower. Wouldn't that be a pretty cool generator? Wouldn't that be neat? If you did something like that, which you probably haven't, but if you did, make sure you know what the limitations are to your hydropower. Your different power, because if it's a fuel that burns, you're going to have carbon monoxide buildup. So don't put it in your garage, because you don't want to go outside and turn that generator on. My goodness gracious, that would be terrible.
No, that's what you want to do, Stan.
Well, no, I mean, that's what you're thinking. I don't want to go out there. I'll put it in my garage.
Yeah.
No.
It's a real problem. And not just a garage. We've had members ask before, if I shut the door to the laundry room, can I keep it in there? So they realize that the carbon monoxide is an issue and it needs to be closed off, but it's not as simple as just closing it off in a room or a garage. That really needs to be
Are
outside.
you going to leave your outdoor door open to your laundry room?
Well, maybe that's what they
know,
had,
can
but
you imagine
I doubt
15
it.
below and leaving that open with the water pipes in there? That would be a real smart thing to do.
Yeah, not so much.
Nah, not really.
Yeah. So just put on your coat, put on your boots, deal with a little bit of uncomfortable.
Right. Fill the gas tank up if it is, or if it's a propane back.
Right.
Not a problem. Make sure you check that out, as well as, making sure you got your Generalink in before the season hits. Don't want to be getting out there and discover you've got 3% propane. Oops.
Yeah, because I promise you the propane company's not going to be able to come out and deliver.
There's an ice storm or something. They're gonna be trouble. So
Yeah.
anyway, check that out for yourself. Always make sure that you've got plenty of fuel that you need. If you have gas, you may want to get a 5-gallon.
Something.
If it's a, it depends. I've seen generators with a gallon-sized gas tank on it.
Oh.
Which is a pretty good sized generator, a gas-operated generator. But that's about the biggest I've ever seen, and that was a pretty good sized honking generator. How long does that last? I can't tell you.
I don't know, but but fill the jug, like you said.
Get it ready.
Fill your jug and
have
it
an
ready.
extra one behind it. At least a 2.5 gallon backup, just in case. Because if you're out 3 or 4 days,
Right.
a gallon's not going to make it.
Right. When we talk about weather and outages, something I want to mention too, and we'll probably talk about this for several months on
Okay,
into
wow, we're
winter.
going to be here a long time then.
If not for several months.
Oh, okay. You have me confused.
That did translate that way, didn't it? But what we'll be talking about at our next several programs, I should say, if you're in a vehicle accident and a power pole's involved, and that can happen any time of year, but we see that the most in the winter. We talk about snow and ice and bad weather. And if there's a power pole involved in a vehicle accident, you want to stay in the vehicle. And I know human nature, you're in an accident, the first thing you want to do is jump out of the vehicle. Am I okay? Are my passengers okay? Was anybody hurt? It's just instinct, I think, to want to get out of the vehicle. Stay in the vehicle. You've got to make that conscious decision to stay in the vehicle, because that power line could be charged. And TV has really dramatized what people think a live power line looks like. And it does not have to be arcing or sparking or flopping around.
Yeah.
And, we see that a lot in movies, but that's not always the case. It could just be lying there perfectly still and not sparking, and it could very much be a live power line.
Now, that's especially in the rain.
Right.
Or our winter where it's
because you've
snow.
got water mixed in there.
Right. So, even though you may think, oh, not a big deal. I remember reading this one about a person who had an accident, and the line actually fell on the guardrail, and they were able to get out of their vehicle. And then when they were climbing up, they reached up and they grabbed the guardrail. And that was the end of that. And so, you got to be very careful. Now, if you hit a pole and no damage is really done to the pole and there's nothing down, yeah, you can get out of your vehicle. But if there's lines that go down, be very cautious. Stay in your vehicle unless there's a threat of a fire.
Right. That's the only time
you want to get out.
That you need to get out is if the vehicle's on fire. And even then, you could become path to ground if you do not exit the vehicle correctly. So what we recommend that you do is to jump out with both feet together. Make sure that you're not hanging on to the vehicle and touching the ground at the same time. That's when you become that path to ground.
Right.
Jump out and then either bunny hop or shuffle away.
And know where the line is down. If the line is down on your vehicle, you definitely want to jump out of your vehicle. Don't hold on to the car or truck when you're getting out, because then you're going to be right to ground.
Right.
But if you want to jump out, if it's on the ground to your driver's side or passenger side, you want to go to the other side. You want to get
Right.
as far away as possible, and then again jump as far as you can away from the vehicle.
Right.
You might even, if you have to walk to the back of the vehicle, if it's on the front, go to the back and jump off the trunk if you have to.
Right.
You know, we're all talking about this like, well, that's not a big deal. Well, when you're having an accident and you're hurt, it's a big deal
It is.
to kind of keep that in mind, but you can't panic. You just have to
Right.
realize the situation. You got to take a minute.
And keep that in mind too. You know, we talk a lot about if you're in an accident. Well, you may come upon an accident. And again, your instinct,
To
most
help.
people's instinct is to get out and help. Be mindful even in those situations of what is involved in that accident. Are there power lines down? Because
Right.
you're going to be walking into that charged area. So, you know, just look before you jump out and rush over. And, you know, maybe the driver, the passengers don't know there's a power line down. You could possibly save their life just by shouting to them
Yeah,
to stay in the vehicle.
Stay.
Best thing you can do is call 911. They'll get a hold of Intercounty.
Right.
We'll get our guys out, make sure those lines are
And
de-energized.
excuse me. Well, while you're talking about this, though, Heather, let's also tell people that this occurs at home too. When you
It
have
does.
when you have storms and it can knock it. A tree comes down, knocks a line down. It's laying in your grass out there, and the first thing you want to do is, you know, there's damage. You want to get out there and see what it is. Well, if you know the line's down, you step in the grass and it's wet.
Right.
You may have an issue. Same thing in the snow when ice storms. When they get too much ice on, those lines come down. That snow happens to be water
Right.
or ice, and so it's going to travel.
And, you know, great subject to talk about, especially since we're talking about storms and bad weather. But maybe the line's not all the way down. Maybe it's not broke, but it's sagging really low. That's something you want to stay away from as well. And make sure if you have kids, as much as, you know, we were talking before the show, how they like to play outside on a snow
Sure.
day and play in the snow. Just be mindful, especially when there's a lot of ice,
Oh, yeah.
because trees can come down on those power lines and maybe it doesn't snap the line. Maybe it just really makes it sag. Just make sure you take a look out in your yard, in your area where your kids play after a storm, after a lot of ice.
It should be
which-
away from the lines anyway.
Right, but you know, those, they may not have broke. You may still have power in your home, but they may be low enough that the kids could get a hold of them, and kids will be kids, and
Right.
you know,
Farther away the better if
Right.
there's something like that. So, and kind of keep that in mind. But watch out for that wet grass. And, you know, that could even be just a dew in the morning. It doesn't have to be a storm.
Right.
But if that line is down, it can be a problem. So, you know, we're not trying to scare everybody. And don't ever come out of your house and don't ever do
Right.
this. But you have to be aware. You know,
You
do
do.
look around, because especially if you know there was a storm or high winds, who knows? You know, maybe a limb came down, clipped the wire, it came down, you didn't know it, and you got outside, and then the next morning it's a beautiful morning, but you want to go check for damage. The first thing you do is start walking out. May not be the thing to do. So
Right.
anyway, be very, very cautious. And also look out for those dangling limbs as well.
right,
Because it happens a lot. They don't always come down, and they're just waiting for you to get underneath them
right.
before they break loose. Kind of sounds like, was that, the Final Destination or something like that? Every time you think
Yeah.
about something crazy, it can
It's
always
like,
go
oh,
wrong.
yeah.
It's going to go wrong. But, you know, it all can happen. We're just letting you know. These are all scenarios, and in some cases they have happened.
That's right.
You know, so we don't want anybody to get hurt. But please be careful. And this time of year, it's going to be a lot wetter now. We're going to have leaves coming down. That's another thing when the leaves come down. If you have a line down, you may not be able to see it
Right.
because the leaves are covering it.
Yeah. And if the tree comes down, that little line blends in really well with those tree branches and twigs, and
Kind of looks like a branch.
it does. Yeah. So just be aware if it's storming, if it's windy, if it's icy. If you've been in an accident, just be aware of your surroundings and really be conscious of where those power lines are.
Right. And if there is a line down, you want to stay as far away from that line as possible. Give yourself the best chance,
That's right.
you know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. All right, that's a good safety thing to always remind people about
Yeah.
that, because it does happen. I hate to say it, probably more than you would think, where people at least get a shock. Don't even have any idea. We talked about in the summertime about docks and the electric
Right.
in the docks.
Right.
Closer you get to the dock,
The
the
stronger
that's going to be,
Yeah.
and sooner or later you're going to get to a point where it's fatal. If you're far enough away, you may feel a little tingle, like, hey, somebody's got electric on in the water.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And no, it's not cool.
Yeah.
But you don't know what direction it's coming from. It could be to your right, could be to your left, and the closer you get, the more that tingle becomes kind of like really starts to hurt a little bit. And,
Right.
You don't want to get that to happen. But that's really the deadliest thing, is when people just jump in. They don't know that, and it's
It's fatal a lot of times.
it is, and there's no way getting out. When you're in the middle of the lake, you can't get out of it. There's no way of escaping it. So.
We've heard several reports from Lake of the Ozarks area.
They did I think this past year they did an inspection on every dock.
I
didn't
think they passed something where the docks
Yeah.
had to be inspected.
Right, yeah. And
But
every 2-3 years they have to be
Yeah.
inspected, I think.
You know, and that's not going to be a law everywhere. So make sure next year.
Right, or in your own pond.
Right.
If you've got electric out at your pond site.
Right. Just have an electrician come out and check that. And we talked about that this past spring too, about, the water levels up and down. And when there's a lot of rain and it's really wet, you've got debris that maybe brushed past there. So a lot of damage can occur, wear and tear, really. So
Yeah.
just make sure you're inspecting those before you enjoy those
Yeah.
water areas in the summer.
Well, I want to bring up something that's not currently happening right now in Intercounty, but I think Webster County had somebody doing another scam on electric, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. But it does happen, doesn't it, Heather?
It does. And, I really want to talk about this today anyway, because
Well, then I'm right on.
you are right on it. I don't think scammers are going away. And it may not be that Intercounty members have had one for several weeks or months. Maybe it's Webster members that are being targeted this time. But I think scammers are here to stay, and they're gonna keep trying to.
They get creative, don't they?
They do get creative. And the newest thing we've heard, the co-ops have been warned, is that scammers are now trying to not just make those phone calls that we've had the issues with in the past. Hey, this is Intercounty, and we're going to turn your power off if you don't give me your credit card number right now, which we will not do. But they're texting. They're sending text to members. They're emailing members. There's just so much information available online through the use of internet. People can have your email address, cell phone number. They're going to try. They are going to try to get your money, and if it's not working by just calling and threatening you, like you said, they're going to get creative and they're going to come up with a different tactic.
Okay, so all of us here have probably seen this happen on your phone. If you have caller ID on your phone, you probably see a local number come up, and it's not the local people. It's some out of towns, whatever.
Right.
Okay, they can do the same thing with Intercounty's number. They can superimpose that number in there. It actually, I don't know how they do this, but somebody told me one time, they said it's really not all that hard.
No, they said
And
you can download an app to your smartphone. Free
Yeah.
app
So
to spoof
anyway,
numbers.
Yeah. So you can put the numbers in, and it would say Intercounty Electric, and it's gonna, hey, you're gonna answer the phone because it says Intercounty Electric, and it's not possibly Intercounty Electric. So we've talked about this before. If that happens, and somebody says, hey, just want to let you know you got an electric problem. We're gonna be out there to fix it, but you're gonna have to put a down payment or something crazy, some idiotic thing where they're asking you for money, or they're asking for access to your home. What you do is hang up, you call back the Intercounty number and verify that.
That's right.
Because don't just take, you get a call at 7 o'clock at night. Somebody says they're from Intercounty Electric. Maybe,
Right.
but maybe not. And so just don't assume that these people are always telling the truth.
Right. And not just Intercounty. I mean, you may
No,
have a
anything,
scammer
yeah.
call representing your propane company or your telephone company or your bank. You've really just got to guard your financial information. And I think now more than ever, because these scammers are getting creative and they're trying new tactics, and they want to be believable. I mean, that's how they are successful. The more believable they are, the more successful they are. And so, it's not always going to be the real hateful foreign voice demanding a green dot card number from your local convenience store. A lot of these calls, especially the last several that that our members informed us of, were very believable.
Oh, sure.
The number was spoofed. It came from a local number, and the caller was very polite, very calm. This is so-and-so with Intercounty Electric. We see your bill has not been paid. We do have a lineman out on his way en route to turn off that power. We wanted to give you a call, give you a chance to pay. We even had one member tell us that they gave them a separate number to call to enter their own credit card number in. We know you may not be comfortable giving your card information over the phone. You can call this number and enter it here.
And you're giving it to them anyway.
And you're giving it to them anyway. But my point is, they're getting creative, and they're really working at trying to steal your financial information. And that's scary.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even though you see the fraud with Facebook, you see that people have been making up accounts for years and sending stuff out. And I was just reading here the other day that Facebook believes they right now have over 3 million phony accounts. Now I'm thinking 3 million phony accounts. They believe that they have, because people's pictures are stealing them off other sites, so they're showing up on more than one site as that person.
Wow.
So, if I don't know who you are, or I've talked to you on the phone, and I have no idea who you are, and I have no idea how you look, or what you do, and all of a sudden I'm on Facebook and I get something from, something shows up on Facebook. Hey, this is Heather with Intercounty, and it shows somebody totally different, and it says, hey, we are checking all the accounts, and we have your Facebook account, and we noticed that this is going on. You need to contact me right away. Well, I'm thinking, I've heard Heather on the radio. This must be real.
Yeah.
Not real. Not necessarily. I don't think you're going to do that on Facebook anyway.
You got to keep your guard up.
But see, so many people are living on their phones and computers and things that they assume that that's going to be a true assessment of what is going on. So they are getting to them through Facebook. You have to sign up for things now through Facebook, and that's why so many of these things are unbelievable. How they take people's information.
You give it, you put it out there.
Well, you do, and and I'm seeing more and more people want to go to electronic everything, and I said it's just not a good idea. You shouldn't be doing that because you have no fallback. If everything is based upon this, and somebody goes in and scams your system, they've got everything. So, anyway, you just have to be careful. So people out there, as you say, they're getting very creative. They're getting smarter, and they're figuring out new ways to do things. And when the technology gets more advanced, they're getting more advanced.
So. I do, along that note, I want to mention something that I almost forgot to mention this month. But in November, sometime in November, and we don't know exactly when.
We're having a party.
I guess we could.
Well, Thanksgiving and stuff,
But sometime during the month of November, Intercounty will be participating in a phone survey. We do this every 3 years. So back in 2015, we did this. It's just a member survey, kind of rates our members' satisfaction with the co-op. That will be happening in November, and we'll remind listeners next month. So if you get a call and they say, I'm calling on behalf of Intercounty, I want to do a survey, they're not going to be asking for you to make a payment over the phone. They're not going to be asking you to give any of your personal data. They're not going to be asking for your social security numbers or your bank account information. They're going to be asking you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your co-op? On a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, whatever their scale might be, how satisfied are you with the co-op's rates? I mean, it's going to be those types of questions.
It takes about 5 to 8 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's about right. So if you get a call and they want to do a survey, obviously we encourage you to do that. And I know, talking about scams, today's time and age, it's tough because we talk about scammers and being leery to give out personal information over the phone. But this survey that's going to happen in November is legitimate. Just make sure that in case a scammer thinks, hey, I'm going to start calling in November, we are not asking for financial information. Right. So do not fall victim to a scammer trying to collect bank or credit card information.
Very good. Is there a name to this company, their service?
They will call as a representative of Intercounty. Okay. They work for all co-ops, and I can't remember
I'm just saying,
off the top of my head.
Will that show up by caller ID?
It should show up as Intercounty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
And they will let you know that they're calling on behalf of Intercounty. We've got a few survey questions. Would you be willing to participate?
And we'll give you $50.
No. No, not even.
Can I go?
If you give us
if I
your
go
bank
Monday, maybe I can go over Monday and start talking about these things because this stuff needs to be updated.
You've got a lot of ideas, don't you?
All for the benefit of the owner, of the member.
If you see Stan coming,
beware.
He's full of ideas.
Full of ideas. I always have ideas. They may not be good ones, but they're always ideas.
Always ideas.
One of the ideas that I have that you might even like is that a lot of times people, especially right now, don't really remember when the last time they moved or something of that nature. And, voter registration is now over. You can't even, I think you got till tomorrow. You have till tomorrow. Till register to vote. But a lot of people move from one address to another. Now, they're still within the same city, and you may have something you put in the mail that'll forward your mail for 6 months or so. But you know what? That doesn't change your account information in Intercounty. And somewhere down the road, may not be this year, it may not be next year, but those capital credits will be coming back. And you know what?
We're going to have a wrong address.
You took the words right out of my mouth. But it's a great time you start thinking about making sure your voter registration information is correct. Make sure your Intercounty registration is correct. So they got the right stuff. And how about your poll numbers and things of that nature? When was the last time you went out and checked?
Well, and not
little stuff like that.
Right. And your poll number is unique to your location. Everyone has their own poll number.
But if you move, it isn't.
If you move, it changes. And your bill should reflect that new poll number. That's how we knew what location to turn on in your name. What we really want to make sure that you're updating is that service description, because you think about someone with maybe multiple accounts. Maybe they've got a house and a barn.
Right.
And so if they're not identified, if they're not labeled, and we need you to let us know what that service description is, when you call in an outage, maybe your house is out but the barn's still on, or the barn's out and the house is still on. Maybe you've got multiple accounts and they're not even in the same town. We have members who live in one town and they've got a farm off somewhere else, or maybe a cabin off somewhere else.
Or some property where they go hunting.
That's right. So if you can give us a call and let us know what the service description is at each of those poll numbers, it's going to help us when we have to send a serviceman out, but it's also going to help you when you're calling in about one of your accounts. Maybe you have a question about the bill and you don't have the account number with you, or maybe you're not sure what account number goes with each account. If we've got a correct description on there, then you can say, my barn, the account for my barn, or the one for the house on such and such street.
For the back 40 hunting property.
Right.
In Montgomery County or whatever.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't Intercounty.
Probably not on Intercounty, but I think we get the point.
Yeah, but wherever it is, you definitely want to make sure that you have that accurate information and update it. Make sure you've got it updated.
Right.
Or if you're giving that property to your son or daughter and say, you know what, I don't hunt anymore, so I'm going to give it over to my son. Make sure that they get that information. So you know that maybe somebody else might be calling in and it's not fraudulent on your side. You guys know that this person is legit.
Right. And along the same lines, making sure your account information's up to date, I would just encourage you to update your phone number. I know a lot of our members, their phone numbers change really frequently. And if we have a good phone number for you, we're going to be able to reach out to you if we do need to get a hold of you for some reason. So make sure those phone numbers are updated. And a recent example I'll give you, Intercounty, we are having a contract group do some spraying. And we sent out a call to the members that are in the areas that are going to have spraying done, letting them know what kind of spraying, assuring them that it's EPA approved, there's no grazing restrictions, we're not spraying in maintained yard areas. This
So
is
they
kind of
don't
the
get scared
timeline.
for their pets or whatever, or anything like
Right.
that.
So if we had a good phone number for you, you got that message. But if we don't have a good number, we weren't able to get that information to you.
Yeah.
So make sure that phone number is updated.
Right. A lot of people have taken their landlines away.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all cell phone. You may still have their landline as your contact.
Right.
Well, it's not even in service anymore. So when you call it and they go boop, boop, boop,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this number you have called is no longer in service.
No longer in service. Yeah.
How
Just
do
don't
I-
forget about us.
How
Update-
can anybody forget about Intercounty?
Well, I would hope that they don't, but current
Yeah.
members, I think, are probably the best at keeping their information updated. But as you mentioned initially, when you move off of Intercounty's system, a lot of times you don't think to keep your address, your current address, on file with Intercounty. And that really is important down the road because those capital credits that accrue, those are yours. That's our members' portion of the profits.
Right.
And as a co-op, we're not for profit, and that money's returned to members. So we want to be able to send it to you, and we will send it to you as long as we have a good address on file.
Okay, so update that account information. Check it out. It on Smart Hub, it has all your account information.
It does.
So you can go on Smart Hub, look at that. Make sure that's all accurate. If the phone number's not accurate, let them know. Can
That's
you
right.
change it on Smart Hub right there?
I think you can send in a request for it to be changed, and then we receive that in the office and we update it. And,
Okay, very
and
good.
then
So
you should
there's
see the change.
there's ways of making a change, even if you don't have time to call. If you happen to be on Smart Hub and it's 3:35 in the morning, I don't know why you'd be doing that at 3:35 in the morning, but if you are, and people do, I mean, there are some of us that get crazy or up that time in the morning, and
Well,
sometimes
and
I
different
wonder,
work schedules.
I wonder if I used too much electric yesterday, and you want to go on and look. I mean, you can.
That's right.
So, but then while you're there, you say, wait a minute, that's not my phone number. I
don't
haven't
have
had that
in-
number in 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've had Intercounty a long time.
Yeah.
So I need to change that number so they can get a hold of me. So again, real easy. Just go ahead, update it, send that request in, and if you have any questions, you can just call them. What's that number they can call, by the way?
They can call us toll free. It's 866-621-3679.
There you go.
And that's a central number. You'll get someone that can help you. And if you need someone specific, we can route you to them.
There you go. So you just make that phone call. You can also go on their website and send it says, information. And the website is
www.ieca.coop.
very good. Very good. Okay, so we've got a lot of things starting to go on, and we're going to the change in seasons. And we all know the change in season. We kind of talked about this last month and start getting ready for this, the changing of the filters and things
Right.
of that nature. This also becomes a good time people start thinking about those energy audits. And I know that there's a lot of people out there. You don't call today to think you're going to have somebody there tomorrow.
Right.
It's amazing how that happens. But I guarantee you somebody will probably call and say, can I have somebody here tomorrow check that out?
Yeah.
Because Friday is supposed to get cold.
It is supposed to get cold.
It
Friday.
is, but I'm sure that there is a list of people on the list for energy audits.
There is, and we've only got
Excuse me.
just a couple of employees that can do those audits, and they're time consuming, and they are because we want to really be able to help point out areas in your home that can improve. We want to be able to walk through with that infrared camera and show you this area needs attention, this area
Right.
needs attention. So we do take our time when we're there taking care of those energy audits. If that's something you're interested in doing, those are provided for free for our members. What you'll want to do is call and just ask to have an energy audit at your home, and we'll get you on that list. And when we get close to your name, we'll give you a call and say, hey, what day this week works best for you?
Very good.
And then we can get that scheduled.
They're a great thing to have. If you've never had one, I highly recommend you get one. If you have had one, I hope you took advantage of what they recommended, because it will help you save money. But besides energy audits, Heather, we all know that, it is October, and we have those vampires that suck your energy dry.
We do, yes. The phantom load, if you will. Those energy vampires, as you call them.
Phantom of the electric socket.
And we talk about this, and still I don't think members understand a lot of times how big of an impact these phantom loads can have on your bill.
10 to 15% of your bill, depending upon what you have always on.
Right. And a lot of what you have on in your home is always on when you think it's off. Those gaming consoles especially, those suck a lot of power when they're plugged in, even when they're off, Your DVR, a lot of people with satellite have the DVR. Even your coffee pot, your microwaves, if they've got a light or a clock, those are using, it's a small amount. Usually the items around your entertainment center are going to be those biggest, pulling the biggest phantom loads. But
And you're right. But if you're not using the entertainment center, if you're going away for a week, why would you have your router on? Why would you have your computers on? Why would you have your monitors on? And we do that. Everybody leaves them on. And they go to sleep.
But they're on standby.
When you're asleep, your body doesn't shut off. Otherwise, you wouldn't be around. Your body goes into sleep mode. So, yes, it's still, your heart's still pumping, and your blood's still going, and your brain is still moving, just like the electricity is. And you're going into these little vampires. They're just sitting there, and they're just, they're loving it. Okay, now your clock, if you have a clock plugged in somewhere at your main clock, obviously you're not going to shut that off.
Right. There are things that you're just going to always have on.
Right. Maybe maybe you have a carbon monoxide detector that plugs into the electric. That's going to be on. You do have energy, I'm going to say energy angels out there as well, because, you have vampires, but you have angels because they can help save you, because they are there to protect you. But a lot of the conveniences, and that's really all it is, it's conveniences we have today, end up costing us a lot in energy. If you, like you mentioned with the, whether you have cable or you have satellite, if you're doing a lot of different things with a DVR and you've got that all set up, it's always on. If you want to know what the channels are, you have to leave it on. You can't shut it off. But if you're not one that records a lot, shut it off.
Right. And a power strip is a really great tool, because then you're not having to reach back and try to unplug, and that could become an inconvenience that maybe wouldn't be worth it to a member to get back in there and unplug it. But if you've got all those on a power strip, at the end of the night when you're done with the TV and maybe you're not going to be back to it until the next evening, flip that power switch off on the power strip, and then they are all really off.
Right. And look at all the electronics that we have that we charge every single day, whether it be your tablet or your phone or other things you might have. A lot of people have battery operated utilities, tools. Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you've got your drill. You use your drill. You plug it in, charge your batteries, and you leave it plugged in. There's nothing in that charger anymore, but it's still plugged in. It's still using electric.
Still drawing.
It's still doing its thing. So if you have 15 of those out there charging your weed eater and charging your lawnmower, charging your drill, charging your hedge clipper, and you leave them all plugged in, you got one big sucker out there. Put them all on a power strip, just like Heather said, and when you get everything charged, shut it off.
Right. It's the best thing you can do.
You can leave it all plugged in. Just shut it off.
Right.
That way you got all the stuff still there. And, you're going to probably need to charge it before you use it again. So the really ideal thing is like plan your day ahead. Gosh, that's just crazy. But, if you know you're going to have to cut the grass the next day, plug it in the day before.
Yeah.
and get it all charged up. And then once it's charged, and then for those people who just put their phone chargers in and leave them in there forever, never take them out, here, use an electric every single day.
Mm-hmm.
All 24/7, even though your phone's not in it. It's still using it. Unplug that sucker, set it right down there, and you're good to go. But like we said, there are some that you just don't want to unplug, that you
Right.
really don't want to do. And if it means a lot to you to make sure your TV shows are being recorded, then don't unplug that stuff.
Right.
Those choices are yours, but just know, a lot of people now have lights that go on automatically outside.
I do. Security light.
Right, that aren't solar operated, that are still on the circuit.
Right. Sort
If
of
you
on
do-
a timer.
Exactly, or they have the eye sensor, which is the
Oh,
light
yeah.
sensor. You might
Mhm.
have that, but you could be
Like a
on a timer.
motion.
Right, motion sensors is different things of that nature. All those can be pirates, if and especially in the summer when it's not very dark. But as soon as it gets dark enough, they're going to come on. Somebody says, well, it only comes on at night. No. If you have a storm in the middle of the day, it comes on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, grant you, that may not be that much. But if you don't need it, have a switch outside of it and shut it off. If you don't need it on at night, maybe you don't want it that bright out there at night. Or maybe you're getting tired of the neighborhood cat running through there and kicking on your motion detector every 15 seconds. That'll drive you nuts, too. So maybe you want to shut that off until you're ready to go to sleep. Maybe you stay up till midnight or later. I know you're late. You're really one of those late people. Stay up till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Get up at 5. You just,
Oh,
you've got
yeah.
that all situated.
I'd
You've
probably
got
be a
kids.
crab
You
if
got
I
it.
did
You've
that.
got kids. You got to have to do that. No, but you don't. If you're
Right.
already up and there, you don't need all that stuff on.
That's
so,
right.
make sure you do that. A lot of people are doing solar things outside that they're not very powerful, but that works fine. That's not going against your electric bill.
Mhm.
But be cognizant. And one of those power vampires can be your well. We've talked about this. If there's a
Mhm.
short, that power vampire can be a whole group of them.
Right.
Really sucking your bill dry.
And that's where Smart Hub really
Mhm.
comes in as the hero, because it's convenient to just open up that app and see that increased steady usage, and then you can start looking for, is the well pump running all the
I
time?
know, but I have a great idea what somebody could do at Smart Hub, since you just brought that up.
Okay.
What you could do is you can go to Smart Hub and you can watch your daily usage. Go unplug or shut off all those power
Oh, there you
vampires
go.
for, say, 3 days, and just see what the reduction is in your usage.
Right. And everyone's is going to be different, because
Sure.
I have 2 kids that have more chargers plugged in than probably what you have plugged in at your home. So,
That's because my children are gone.
each home's going to be different. Your energy vampire is going to be different than mine. Is going to be different from my neighbors. But yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Check Smart
See, I
Hub,
had
and
one great idea today.
you've had a lot of ideas today.
I had one great idea. The other ideas, I don't think you were really up that
I don't
high.
know. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying steak and lobster was a bad idea. I just don't think it's a viable idea.
It
was good.
in lieu of capital credits, let's do steak and lobster.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would be
I
angry
know
with
they
that.
they'd rather have their capital credits,
Yeah.
but I'd rather have steak and lobster myself right now. But the idea is these tools are available to you right now.
Right.
Or if you're on prepaid electric, you can do the same thing, right?
Right. And prepay has been a really great, I would call it a tool. I mean, it is a billing method, pay as you go option, but it's been a really great tool, because members who go on prepay and pay as they go are much more conscious of the choices they're making in their home, because they're not just using all month and then getting a bill and saying, oh,
Wow.
maybe kicking that air down a couple degrees to make the house more comfortable really did make a difference. That cost me a lot more. But when you're paying as you go, it's sort of like putting gas in the tank of your vehicle. Maybe you can run all those errands in one trip to town instead of half
go
a
get
dozen.
it, come back. Go get it, come back.
Right.
Go get it, come back.
And it's the same with their energy choices. They really become aware of, oh, if I wait and run the dishwasher when it's a full load instead of running it a few times with just partial loads,
Exactly.
that saves me money on my bill.
Same thing with their washer and dryer, too.
That's
the Same
right.
thing. So, there are a lot of different things you can do. and always be cognizant. We talk a lot about computers and phones and different things of that nature. There are a lot of chargers with those, and they're on all the time. And I know some people, even with the old CPU units, they still have their speakers on, and they leave that on all the time. Well, that actually is guzzling a lot more than you think. Those speakers usually take like 1 amp, and that's a lot, for some of those speakers, because they have the speakers, and then they have the the bass or the little thing. So watch out for depending upon what you have. Now, if you have the little cheap speakers, they're probably not taking too much. A millivolt or two, it not taking much. But if you get the ones with the more surround sound because you wanted the best sound, you're paying for it. If you just leave it on, just shut that off and turn it off. Now, there's still a charger that goes into it. If the worst thing, that is a trickle charge, but the other one, shut that thing off. If you don't have any sound going in, what good are those speakers doing you? Shut the monitor off. What good is that doing you if your computer is sleeping? Yeah, it's not on. So you shut those off just by themselves if you want to leave your computer on so that you don't have to reboot and start all over again. So there's ways that, I don't want to say you want to manipulate your bill, but there are options to this vampires that you can do that shut one off, leave the other one on, do something different. Use it to your discretion.
That's right. And our members are ultimately in control of what they're using in their home. And I know there's situations that arise. The well pump gets hit by lightning and runs all the time. Maybe your furnace is going out and cause some increased usage. But you've got a lot of control over your usage in your home. So take a look at some of the things that maybe you've not paid attention to in the past, these phantom loads, and see, well, what happens if I put all of this entertainment center on a power strip and turn it off each day?
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a difference.
Check it out on your smart hub. That'd be really interesting to see how much you save in a month.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be pretty cool if somebody finds out they save like $8 a month?
And it could be that much.
It could be. When you think about that, $8 a month times 12. That might be the cost of one of your whole electric bills.
Could be.
Or more. You start talking about $96 to $100.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Any savings is movement in the right direction. I mean,
well, there's a lot of things that we have on Phantom Power, like you were mentioning with your coffee pots. God, I saw this one coffee pot that had the time. It had has a TV in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a little TV.
I've not ever seen those.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going a little excessive, but you got to be in your kitchen if you want to have a TV. It's just basically a phone size, maybe about 4 by 6.
Yeah,
it's right
I bet that
right in a
uses,
coffee
don't it?
pot, but it always has to be on because you can't unplug. If you unplug it, it's always on. Like smart TVs today, if you get a brand new TV, they never go off, even though you can shut them off.
They're on
They're
standby,
all on
ready
standby, always. They're ready to go. So those smart TVs where you can plug in your flash drive and just watch pictures. You know what? When you plug that flash drive in, if you didn't turn that unit on, it's going.
It's been on.
It's on. So do watch out for some of those things. Anyway, we're trying to just make you more aware. And the more the electronics that come up, a lot more of these phantom powers are going to come up as well. So, just be careful. The more options you usually get on something like your refrigerator, where it has, the new refrigerators I'm talking about, they got a picture in them too.
Yeah.
You can even call your refrigerator. You can do all kinds of different things. Actually, it can send you texts now.
I know. I've seen
while you're at the store. So those have to be on all the time. And every little addition to that refrigerator, besides the cooling unit and the lights that are on the inside, that's all vampire.
Yeah.
They always have to be on. So your electric on that refrigerator may have gone from $3 a month up to $7, simply because of the new conveniences it has. Do you really need them? That's the choice you need to make. There you go. I'm done. I have nothing else.
Good stuff.
Do you have anything else?
Just a reminder about Member Appreciation Day. We started with it,
well,
so
yeah.
let's end with it.
Sure, okay.
Next Monday, October 15th, 11 to 1. Please come out and join us at one of our offices in Rolla, Licking, or Mountain Grove. We'd love to see you and get you signed up for that electric credit, and maybe we'll draw your name out of there.
And if you want to go to all three, you can.
If you want to go to all three, you certainly can.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Now remember, no speeding. We don't want
course
anybody
not.
get a ticket in between there. It won't be worth your time.
No. No, it wouldn't.
Won't be worth your time. Heather, as always, thanks for coming by,
Thanks,
spending
Dan.
some time with us. We do the Intercounty Tuesday every second Tuesday, unless by some weird means we can't do that on that day, which has happened here just, a couple of months ago.
Once.
Yeah, not usual. It's not normal.
Not normal, no.
Today's also Roundup. Remember, don't forget about
It
that.
is.
Don't forget to sign up for Roundup if you need assistance and help. It's there for you. It's a great tool. And we talked about that last month in detail. So hopefully you were listening in last month. But again, Operation Roundup today. What, they go in the afternoon? You guys meet in the afternoon?
11. They meet at 11.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. But then you need to hustle back.
Hustle,
Get things
hustle.
ready. All right. Well, Heather, as we always appreciate Heather coming over and spending some time with us, or Tony, whoever you may send.
Yeah, Tony. We probably need to get Tony over here again.
He was
Talk about
here
some of
about
that
3 months ago.
economic development.
Yeah.
He's
But you always can
the
do
guru
that.
there.
Yes, it's always fun to talk with Tony. He likes to talk baseball, though.
Yeah. He's a sports guy, ain't he?
He does. He likes talking about it. But anyway, well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
you have a safe trip back right here on KSMO Radio 1340, our Intercounty Tuesday.
Current price times 1,000 acres. Carry the one.
These days, it's hard to make the math